I've been described as a storyteller, and I'm very fortunate to have had a great many life experiences involved with the sea and life-saving, and I've got a good memory. And if I was to come out with one story, I would find that very difficult. But I can think of perhaps the most dramatic rescue that I personally have been involved in was not indeed with the Hoylake all-weather lifeboat, but with the West Kirby inshore lifeboat. I'll make it a brief tale. It is one of a definite life saved, and that was on an occasion many years ago. It was the end of March, early spring morning. Sun was shining, flat calm, not a breath of wind, not the sort of day you'd be expecting a dramatic rescue. And we had been with our inspector in the lifeboat station, going through all our equipment and all the drills that we might possibly be called upon. The inspector had just about finished, and we were going to adjourn for, I seem to remember, a glass of beer and a sandwich at West Kirby Sailing Club, when the crew member who was to value this statement was asked, "Oh, you all know about mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, you don't really need to do that anymore." And Robbie, also crew member then at the Hoylake lifeboat station, said, "I'd like to see it again." And we didn't have a dummy, so you probably know you can't breathe into a living person the mouth-to-mouth resuscitation drill, but we went through the motions with one of the crew lying on the ground, apart from breathing into his mouth. And then we adjourned for that sandwich. And when there were only three of us left, the telephone rang, and there was a bird watcher on Hilbury Island, John Gittings, and he said there were two men, he said there was a casualty in the water. So 12 minutes later, we were on board the ILB, inshore lifeboat, and we came across the head in the water. Very cold, eyes staring, and he was surrounded by parachutes from the white parachute flares that John Gittings had been firing with amazing accuracy to pinpoint where the casualty was. So we cut the engine, and Robbie and myself started to heave the man, but he was very heavy. So the third man, that was Taffy, he came in, and we heaved the man up. And as he came up, we realised there was a second man wrapped around his waist with a bird mist net. And we heaved him on board. The first guy fell on top of me, so I started to rub his hands and the limbs to get him back, because he was very cold. And the other fellow was bright blue in the face and not breathing. He was apparently dead. And Robbie, who'd asked about mouth-to-mouth resuscitation about an hour and a half earlier, was doing the job for real. And we waited patiently as Robbie breathed in the apparently dead mouth, and suddenly there was a gurgling and a spluttering, and this face was violently sick. It was one of the most beautiful sights I've ever seen in my life. Robbie got him back to life.